Hello my sweet friends and welcome to DIY with Nadia. Today we are making a 21-inch Deco Mesh Poof Method floral wreath and I think it turned out very beautiful and shabby chic. Let's get started. For today's wreath, I'm starting with this metal wreath form from the Dollar Tree, which is 14 inches. Then I'm going to be using this Deco Mesh from Joann's, and this one is 21 inches by 18 feet. And then I'm going to be using this gorgeous ribbon that I got online. Look at this. So beautiful with the elegant pink roses, and I'm going for elegance with this wreath. Then I'm going to be using this wire jute ribbon. It's 4 inches in width right here, and in length it's 21 feet. I got this one on sale for $5, but you can still find this one in this color and like a dark brown color. If you're not able to get your hands on this one for the same effects, you can definitely use one of my favorite ribbons, which is a mesh ribbon from the Dollar Tree. This ribbon does come in white, ivory, and also brown and this beautiful green. But I thought for this wreath, an ivory would be just perfect. So I am going to be using this gorgeous jute wired ribbon and this one. And for the centerpiece of my little ribbon bundles, I'm going to be using this beautiful ranunculus from the Dollar Tree, and they're pink, and you are going to need 18 of these along with 18 pipe cleaners. If you've seen this before, you can just skip this part to the next part, but I'm going to go over really quickly how I put the pipe cleaners on my wreath form. And this is a process that used to scare me when I saw these wreaths with all of these pipe cleaners sticking out. It was so overwhelming, but in reality, it's not. So we have a wreath form from the Dollar Tree. It has 6 sections. In each section, we're going to put 3 pipe cleaners, which is going to give us a total of 18 pipe cleaners. First pipe cleaner you can put either on the first row, or I kind of started doing it on the first 2 rows. So I'm just going to put it straight in the middle of the first 2 rows, just like that. And I'm going to face this one inside. This is just basically easier when we're working to find our pipe cleaners because you have all this mesh on top. And then the other 2 are going to go to the side of the center one on rows 3 and 4. And that's it. Not bad. So just think of it just think of this as one section at a time. And we only have 3 per section, 1 on row 1 and 2 going inside, and then 2 pipe cleaners going on row 2 and 3 to the side of our center one. And then we are just going to continue doing this all the way around until all the sections are filled, and I will be right back when I'm done with all of these. And this is what your wreath is going to look like when it's all done. Before I bring my mesh in, let me just explain how this is going to work. I call this method a spiral method because whether you're working from outside in or inside out, it's still going to be the same thing. So what we're going to do is work on our first row from the inside right here. So if I'm starting right here, I'm going to go all the way around and make 10-inch loops going all the way around, then come back to this spot and then complete my little loop. And then I'm going to go on this next section, not on the next pipe cleaner, because 10 inches from here and here is just a little bit too much. So we're going to go to the next section, to the pipe cleaner there. And from here, we are going to start making 10-inch loops going all the way around. And then we're just going to cut the Deco Mesh off and zip tie it in place. And we're also going to zip tie when we begin. Let's grab our beautiful Deco Mesh, and I'm going about 2 inches in and just collecting that tail. And here I'm just going to go around, make sure that I have everything over here, because sometimes when you bring it together, it kind of goes in waves. So you do want to make sure that you collect that whole first row. Right at those 2 inches, I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to put it on one of my inside pipe cleaners, give it 2 tight twists to make sure it's nice and secure. Then I'm going to grab a zip tie, and I'm going to zip tie it to the second row right here. The first row is going to be against the wall, so I don't want any zip tie to maybe scratch the wall. So that's why I'm going up a little bit, because that second row is higher than our first row. And I'm just going to zip tie it in place about 1 inch from where we have our pipe cleaner. This is going to just straighten out our tail, and I just zip tied it as tight as I can and cut that tail off. This tail right here is going to get covered by the loop that's going to go from this pipe cleaner to this pipe cleaner, and then we're also going to have decor or ribbon on each section, so don't worry about this. It's going to get covered up nicely. I'm so in love with this beautiful ribbon from Joann's. Okay, I usually use 10-inch loops for this method, and 10 inches on my board is right here, this light square. So I'm going to put the beginning of my pipe cleaner right at the beginning of my little square. Then I'm going to keep it nice and tight and go to the end right here. I got my 10 inches, and then I'm going to go up, and I'm making sure that everything bubbles up. I'm kind of doing everything right now so we don't have to worry about it later. And then we're going to go to the next pipe cleaner, tie it in, and give it 2 good twists so it's locked in place. And then I'm going to take my pipe cleaners and straighten them up. This way we can find them when we're actually attaching the ribbon. Next loop, 10 inches, same thing. I am going to straighten it out right now. Because this is 21-inch deco mesh, I find it easier to make sure that everything's in place as we're going along. Same thing, nice and tight here, and 2 good twists, and we are good to go. Look at this. This is going to be such a beautiful and full wreath. Okay, I'm on my last loop in my first row right here, and I'm just going to, there you go, complete the loop, and then I'm going to go to the next section. I'm in this section right now, and I'm going to go to the next pipe cleaner, which is right there. So let me measure out my 10 inches, and I'm going to go right here. Look how full this wreath is right now, and that's just the first row. Now we're starting to work on our second row, and we're just going to continue to do the same thing. Make sure you keep your pipe cleaners going up so you can find them when we are all done, because as you can see, this is a very full and beautiful wreath. And I'm just going to go all the way around doing the same thing. And I'm coming to my last loop. Look how full and gorgeous this wreath is. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm going to measure off my last 10 inches. And because this deco mesh was only 18 feet, this is all I have left pretty much here. So let me just cut this off. Regular deco mesh rolls are 10 yards, and you pretty much need 5 yards for one of these wreaths. Let me lock it in, and then from the back, it'll be easier to see when I whip my zip tie out. And I'm just going to pull it back, and I'm going to try to tie it to row 3, because just like row 1, row 4 is going to be against the wall. So I like to tie it to either rows 2 or 3. And then this part right here, I'm just going to twist it back. And that's it. You have a nice smooth backing on here. And this is what the wreath looks like from the back. This wreath is so pretty as it is, but we do need to decorate it a little bit. I'm going to grab my rose ribbon first, and I'm going to be making 12-inch strips. And I'm just grabbing my 12-inch ruler, and I'm going to go around it. I got 18 strips of my ribbon, all 12 inches long. And now I'm going to go around and make my little dovetails here. Just like that, in one swoop. You got 2, just fold it in half, and then fold it in half on top, and just go like that. Now for this ribbon, it is 21 feet long. 21 feet is 252 inches, and we only need 216 inches when we're going to be cutting it into 12-inch strips. So we should have some left over. All these pieces are wired, so I'm just going to use scissors for this one. I'm going to be cutting in the center of a row, so if I need to move a little bit over, I will, especially that I know I am going to have some left over. And then the endings here, this is how we're going to leave them on the wreath. Next, I'm going to add this beautiful pink ribbon that's going to work really well with this ribbon. And as you can see, this one on top of it, this is what's going to give us that little bit of elegance. This one's not wired. It's just a regular satin ribbon, and it is 18 yards and 1.5 inches in width. I'm going to cut it into 12-inch strips, then make little dovetails when I'm done with that. And then we'll be ready to make our little bundles. Now it's time to start making our bundles. I'm going to grab our mesh ribbon first, and I'm just going to put it straight Then I'm going to grab the ribbon that does not have any wired edging, so that on top of that, I can put the ribbon that does have wired edging, and we can decorate and kind of control that a little bit more. And just like that, I'm going to bring it together right here in the middle, and I'm just kind of putting it together just like that, and start attaching them to our little pipe cleaners. You can take care of the pipe cleaners now or later, because I know I'm going to be putting a floral in the center. I really don't need the pipe cleaner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist it until about an inch in, just to kind of lock it in place. Then I'm going to cut the pipe cleaner about an inch in. Next, I'm just going to fold it in half and then fold the pipe cleaner back, and we're all set. As far as laying this out the way I want it, I'm going to do that at the end. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and do all my little bundles. Well, what do you guys think? I think it ended up being so beautiful and elegant, and I believe that the secret to any wreath having that elegance to it is to have some sort of netting to it, because it just gives this kind of vintage and elegant vibe. Now I'm grabbing my ranunculus, and you need 4 bushels or 4 picks of these, because they come with 5 flowers on each one of them, and we're going to need 18. These come off the stem really easily, and so now all I have to do is a little bit of hot glue, and I'm going to put them at the center of each one of my bundles. For our sign, I'm going to be using this little board from the Dollar Tree. And the first thing I'm going to do is remove the little dream wording on there. This is going to be the back, but I didn't want this to be on there. Next, I'm grabbing a sandpaper, and I'm just going to sand it down just to rough it up, so that when we put Mod Podge on it, it's going to hold really well. Next, I'm just going to brush it off. And then I'm going to grab one of my favorite calendars from the Dollar Tree this year, and it's this Blessings Bloom. But of course, you can use anything you have on hand. Since I'm in the floral mood, I decided to go with this one right here, Blessings Bloom. The one I'm going to be using is actually the one on the cover right here. I left about a ½ inch on top. Next, I'm trying to find the center, and since the lettering is already in the center, I'm just going to go off the side, and I'm just going to kind of press it so I know where to put it on. I'm using a regular matte Mod Podge that I got at Michael's. I'm just putting it on. Look at that, look how pretty that is. To keep it tight while it's drying, I'm just going to put some tape in the back. Now that it's all set on here, I'm going to cut this off a little bit. Grabbing some strong tape it to the back of the sign. Now I'm just going to add some pipe cleaners to the back of my sign. And I'm going to do what I usually do. Make a flat surface in the middle of my pipe cleaner. Put it straight onto the hot glue. And then put more hot glue on top. While it's still hot, I'm going to put a little bit of a ribbon on here. You can use fabric, whatever you have on hand. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to let the hot glue cool, and it's ready to go on my wreath. The wreath is all done, all the flowers are in, and now we're going to put our little sign. And I think this is so perfect because it has roses. It's perfect for spring and summer, and it does have a little shimmer to it because the lettering have that little gold foiling on it. And I'm just going to put my pipe cleaners through the wreath here, the center, if I can find it. It's so floofy. And I'm just going to attach it to an intersection right here. And as always, I do the first kind of attachment very lightly, and then the second one's going to be after I make sure that I have the sign in the place that I want it. And when I mean intersection, I mean where the rows are crossing right here. That way I know it's going to stay solid. It's not going to go up and down as it's hanging. And let's just do a check, and I like it like that. And since I do like it, I'm going to go back and finish just tightening these up. And that's it. Our wreath is ready to go on our door.